to take your game to the next level? You want to be a world champion? Take the Fighter Training Stack. Victor Conte's Fighter Training Stack has brought me to the next level. Everything that I take on a daily basis. The Fighter Training Stack is the best thing out right now. Devin Haney, I'm Snack Strong. Get it now, right now.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Marcos Villegas joining you guys live on the internet. And today I have on with me Ak and Barak from the Sirius XM Fight Nation show that also airs on Sirius and DAZN. Hey, guys, out in quarantine right now in New York. Thank you so much for joining me. I've been wanting to talk to you guys for a bit, man, just to kind of see how you guys are doing, but also how do you think this affects boxing? I'll start with you first, Barak. You know, you had an experience with this whole thing. What happened with your experience?
Well, I was going to work normal, like anybody else. Even though the COVID-19 was running rampant in New York, it's not like I wasn't taking serious. We weren't wearing masks because at that time they were saying that it wasn't airborne. But everybody would wear gloves, or I would have like hand sanitizer. Everything I do. It all started with me was just like some stomach pains and diarrhea. So at that same time, I'm still, going to work. Me and Ox still meeting up at his house. We went from the studio. Studio got closed down. Sirius XM. DAZN said, you know what? Let's do it in somebody's house. We started recording at Ox's house. I'm over here coming to work with a stomach ache, diarrhea. I'm getting the chills. Now, none of those were like symptoms. None of those were symptoms that you knew about for coronavirus. And maybe a couple of days later, I started having a whole bunch of other symptoms, and I went and got tested and found out that I was positive, and work still had to be done. My kids caught the virus as well from me because I didn't know I had it all of that time, so their symptoms were a lot lighter, but the end result is we all got through this. And like we love to say, that this is not a death sentence for everyone.
You were in close contact with Ak Barak. Did you end up coming down with it also?
Yeah, me? Yeah, I definitely tested positive for the virus as well. About a week and a half after Barak found out that he was about a week after I found out he was positive, I went and got tested, and then I experienced a lot of symptoms as well. Like with me, I still haven't even got my sense of smell back. It's been like almost a month that I haven't got my sense of smell back. But I experienced like chest pains, shortness of breath, tightness of the chest, really, really, really bad headaches. Unbearable headaches. That was the worst part, and little pains in your chest when you breathe, body aches and all of that. So, it's as real as it gets. I mean, me, I'm a person that, thank God I've never been a sickly person. I never even had the flu. So I don't even know what it is to have those body aches and, chills. I think me and Barak both, we really didn't get fevers. I was one of the odd things. Most people with this virus get fevers, but I guess our body didn't react that way. So this was all new to me. To being this sick and down like that, it's practically new to me because I'd never experienced that in my entire life. So it was a little worse, I guess, for me mentally because you watch the news, you get caught up in that type of with that type of media, you'll go crazy mentally. If you're not strong mentally, you'll literally think you're gonna die every day. You don't know, how many days you got left. Barak helped me out a lot with that because mentally he's pretty strong. And talking to him throughout this because he was experiencing, a lot of the same symptoms, it made it a lot easier. And like he said, it's not a death sentence for everybody. According to my doctors, I'm past the dangerous stage and I pretty much beat this. I've had a pneumonia, didn't know about it. Once they did chest x-rays, I literally all this time had a pneumonia, and there's evidence that, basically my body fought it off, but there's still spots in my lungs now from it that my body has to completely heal on its own. So, but like he said, we've been working throughout this whole time, 5 days a week, bring the show to Sirius XM and to DAZN. So it's been a tough experience, but I know a lot of people have had it worse, being on ventilators, and some of them subsiding to the virus and dying from it. So it's a tough time, man. We're going to go back to a world that I don't think it's ever going to be quite the same.
Yeah, and it's not like Ak is a chump. It's just that prior to this he suffered from anxiety. So I'm sure the physical attributes of this disease, it wasn't hard for him. It's just when you're watching CNN all day, and they're just glorifying all the deaths. That was what was hard. So when I was going through my symptoms, there were days where I had bad days, but I would never tell Ak. So I had days where I could barely breathe, and then I would go to the hospital and get an X-ray, make sure I didn't have pneumonia or something. But I wouldn't tell him, because one thing is that when he see that I can get through it, when he's seeing that I was good, then that tells him that it's not bad for everybody, that you can be good. So it's really just a mental stronghold that this disease has. And that's why he needed to separate himself from like negative media, news, and all of this stuff, just so he can get better.
Yeah, and it's hard the hardest part for me was staying away from my kids for 6, pretty much 5 weeks alone. I was literally alone. So it was just missing them, FaceTiming them, but I got a chance to see them recently. So it's a great thing. But being away from family and your kids throughout this, it wasn't easy. But yeah, I mean, I think mentally, once you get past the mental aspect of it, physically you can deal with it.
I was going to ask that, how was it being away from everybody? Like, did you guys like lock yourselves up in a different room, or you had to physically get away from your family members and your kids?
See, my problem was that it started with just a stomach ache with diarrhea. Literally, I never heard anyone say that was a symptom. So it wasn't until after I had already got tested and I had other symptoms like the headaches and the coughing and the shortness of breath and all that. Once I had that and losing my taste, I said, oh, snap, I got the coronavirus. By that time, I've been home, every day with my children, my 4 kids, using the same bathroom. If you sit on a toilet, they're sitting on a toilet. Guess what? They have it. I'm cooking for them every day. So, my kids had stuff like throwing up and losing their taste and smell and all of that. But, they didn't really have it that bad. I mean, I guess their immune system is so strong. They're young, but I didn't really have time to quarantine myself, for my children.
But me, I live alone now. My wife and I recently separated about 6 months ago, so I don't technically live with my kids. My son normally stays with me every other day, but during this time, obviously, I had to stay away from them. So I was just home alone. So yeah, it was tough for me to, not have my son with me every other day, and not being able to like see him in person. So it wasn't easy, but I mean, look, in order to keep them safe, I had to stay away. So it just goes without saying.
You guys are, fairly young, fairly healthy. Like, how long did it take for you guys to be in the clear and go through everything where you guys are confident, be like, you know what, I'm good now?
Well, for me, wow, this thing lasted pretty long. I might not have never said it out loud. Like, this is probably going to be Ak's first time hearing this, but it was probably a month for me. I would always tell him that I was good, but I don't know. It just really changes your system. The disease really changed my system, where that shortness of breath, it took about a month for that to go away. And to this day, I'm still coughing. I know I'm not infectious anymore. I went around my other family, like I live out here in LA as well. And I've been out here for a couple of weeks, so going on 2 weeks now, so I know I'm not infectious anymore. But to say that I haven't changed from this disease, I'd be lying. I believe I don't have the same breath that I had beforehand, and it's been over a month.
Yeah, I mean,
100. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel the same way. With me, it's been. I still don't feel 100%. I still have my moments where I have like little shortness of breath, and not. Yesterday actually for the first time I went for a little jog to see how I would feel, and I was jogging really slow for about 1.5 miles, and I had to stop. And I can go for 3-4 miles with no issue. So that was tough for me to realize. Damn, my wind or my lungs, they aren't there yet. And yeah, my doctor told me I'm not infectious anymore either, but I still haven't regained my sense of smell. And it seems like this really changes your body. And I'm praying and hoping that eventually at some point I will get back to normal, can work out, can feel like, you know, my old self. But I think this really does a number on your lungs and your respiratory system, where like my lung doctor, who's a lung specialist, said it's just not enough data to know really how long it will take every person. He said, you know, it can be weeks, a month, maybe 2 months, who knows, before you get back to your normal self. Your body just has to heal completely. And there's just not enough information out there about it, man. So it really did a number on us.
You know, a lot of people during this time have been at home and have been alone with their thoughts, and you know, a lot's been said about mental health. You know, coming from both you guys that had this and fought through it, you know, what kept you positive? What message did you have for people struggling with their mental health right now, and what helped you stay positive during this whole time?
Well, I think that the only thing, I mean, think about it. The symptoms that I had was just like having a flu, maybe a couple of more. So it's not like I haven't been sick before, you know, so it really was nothing to be afraid of. You know, the only reason why fear comes into play is because of the media, you know, because of news. Even though hundreds of thousands of people have recovered, for some reason, we hear about the people who die, and we kind of concentrate on that. And the news kind of push that a lot. So I can see that being tough on some people's minds, but I believe it's my relationship with God that has always kept me through anything I've ever gone through. And this was no different. This is no different, that, you know, I was able to man up during this time because, you know, God is my provider. God is my strength. And that's how I feel about everything, you know. And then I have kids. So as a father, as a single father, I don't give into weakness that easy. You know what I'm saying? So I might have been sick, and there's times when I had no energy. Like it really makes you feel lethargic. But my kids will tell you that, you know, I still took care of I still worked. I still did the show every single week, interview guests, and nobody knew. Nobody knew I had it. You know what I'm saying? So as a man, as a father, you know, you're gonna push. You're gonna push to be that strong example for your kids. And I feel like with God, you know, I mean, when there's a scripture in the Bible that says, Romans 8, chapter 31, you know, if God is for you, then who can be against you? And I wholeheartedly believe that and walk in that manner.
Yeah, I mean, for me, God played a major part as well. I think that this puts a lot of things in perspective on how maybe socially irresponsible we might have been before with being so friendly, so touchy-feely, and it puts all that in perspective. And also even you know, as far as how you take care of yourself holistically, or your diet, and how important not only keeping your immune system strong when you're sick, but just keeping it strong all year round, because you never know when an infectious disease might get a hold of you. So what gave me some comfort, you know, God before anything, and a lot of praying, and also me putting energy into just putting so much healthy shit in my body, and trying to build that immune system, and realizing like, man, this is something that I should have been consistent with all year round. You know, maybe I would have been one of the ones that was asymptomatic, or that didn't suffer as many symptoms as I did, had I been more conscious of that. So I think some good come from this. Obviously not anybody losing their lives, but, you know, you putting a lot of things in perspective, your time with your kids, things that are more important than anything that sometimes you might have, you know, shied away from it, or put it to the side, or put it on hold, and taking care of your body, how important that is. So I think that's what I got from it. That's what brought some comfort for me, but trusting in God and knowing, all right, when I get past this, I'm going to stay consistent. I'm going to keep my body strong. I'm going to spend more time with my kids. I can't wait to get to that point. So all of those things brought some comfort for me mentally, you know, and even physically.
You know, my whole thing is like, how'd you guys, even do the show still with going through all that? Because I would think that that'd be like the hardest thing in the world to do. You're recovering from this, and then you're still having to go ahead and do a show and put on a front that you guys are okay.
That's called being a professional.
Yeah, good poker face too.
Yo, listen, the paycheck can't stop. No, but seriously though,
Yeah.
like we were super grateful to be earning a paycheck in a time where millions were going to the unemployment office, was calling unemployment, so with that gratefulness, man, like it's powerful, man. When you're really grateful, and it's very powerful. And I think that's what really kept us in there. Like, there's people wishing they can go to work. So I'm not going to have some sickness stop me from working, and like I said before, I'm an example to my kids. I'm an example to my kids. And look at Chris Cuomo, like still doing his show when he was sick. Like, come on, man. I'm built from that same cloth. I heard Governor Cuomo, the governor of New York, talk one time, and he said, everybody can look good when times are good. And he says, but when adversity hits, sometimes you see a little crack in a person. And I remember I was laying down on my couch because at that time, I was sucking air, couldn't breathe that good. I had, and I just felt really, really sick. And I had like pains or migraines and stuff like that. And I got up, and that was probably one of the days I was recording, and that was the only time where mentally it was tough for me, because I seen that I heard that my friend just died that day, and I was like, Dad, man, if I'm having trouble breathing right now, maybe since I always, don't care about nothing, I'm never scared of nothing, I might mess around and die right here on this couch. And I said, that's how stupid I can be, because I never go to the doctor, I never care about anything. And I said to myself, and I heard Cuomo speaking, and I was like, damn right. I got so inspired, and I got up and I did my freaking show. And at that time, I didn't know, nobody knew that I had these symptoms, because I didn't test positive yet, so I never said anything, and let me tell you, this spirit that's inside of a man is strong, and we can adapt to anything. We can adapt to anything, and I believe, God gave me the strength to just carry on.
Yeah, I mean, there was no way we were gonna say, "Oh, we don't feel good, we can't do the show today." It's just not, the cloth that we're cut from. And like Rock said, man, I mean, being grateful to God to still have the opportunity to work, we just had to suck it up. And yeah, there was some days that was tough. I'm pretty sure, like Barak described them for me, there was some days where, I mean, the headache was so bad while I was doing the show. Sometimes I would be gone somewhere else, like while Barak is talking and praying to God while I'm on, doing the show. Like, please just let it ease up just for the remainder of the show so I can focus on this. And Barak has seen me, himself gasping for air on the show, taking deep breaths in between, conversations on the show. So there was tough times, but I thank God for getting us through it. And most people, if we hadn't told people on the show live on Sirius and on the Zone that we had it, most people probably would have never known, because of that poker face and because of that strength that God gave us to get through, the show. So it wasn't easy, but it's just something that we had to do.
Yeah, I didn't even know either, because I kept seeing clips of you guys doing the show, and then I found out maybe about like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, what the heck? Like, they still went out and did their show, and I was like, I had no idea.
The only reason why I told is because people were around me. So, Ak was around me. A DP, the director of photography, he was around us. We had a production manager. They was all around me. So I was like, damn, it's my right. I got to tell Sirius, I got to tell the Zone that I tested positive. But if that was not the case, and I was like quarantined and was never around anybody, nobody would ever know. I just would have went through this and that's it. And on one hand, that's just how I am. But also, if you think about it, when it first started, and maybe even now still, you kind of looked at as dirty. Like, if you have the disease that's killing people, nobody wants to be around you. So people are going to look at you a certain way. You know what I mean? And So that alone, I probably deter people from wanting to tell. But in reality, I felt like it was my duty to tell, you know, the people that I work with, you know. But if it wasn't for that, I would have went through this and got through it and not say nothing, you know.
Yeah, but you saying something, you know, could have inspired so many people that are going through it and feel positive and confident that they're going to get through it as well. But I agree with you. You know, people. That's why I don't think we're ever going to go back to the same world that we lived in before, because the way this, you know, disease has been demonized and how dangerous it is. Even if you're told by a doctor that you're not infectious and you're home free, you're out of the woods, people are always going to have that fear to get close to you, to talk to you. You know, not people that really love you dearly that are close to you, but most people that you have relationships with, they might never look at you the same.
Nobody comes on our show anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah, it's gonna be different, guys. It's gonna be I don't know, like I mentioned it when I was on air with you guys, you know, like how different it could be. But have you guys thought about how different working in boxing will be, like post this, when they start having events back on again?
nah, I haven't really thought about it because I feel like, you know, I hate to sound like this again, but as a man, you're gonna do whatever it takes. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna get in where you fit in. Just think about your career, Marcos. You've been doing this for freaking 10 years. Obviously, throughout the 10 years, things have changed. You know, different regulations, different rules have been put in place, and you are still successful. So there's nothing that's gonna stop me. I don't care what changes. I'm gonna find a new way. You know what I mean? And that's it. And especially if this is my purpose that God has given me, you know, I don't really care. I don't really care about the changes. I'm going to get in where I fit in. And I just want to say thank you, Ak, for pointing out what you said earlier. You know, by giving your testimony about going through disease can help. And that's the reason why a couple of times I've mentioned it on our show, because I've seen people in my church be very, very fearful. And I'm like, wow, if they know what I've gone through and I'm good now, then maybe that could subside some of their fear. So you're totally right with that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it inspired me to talk about it and also to try to give my testimony for people to feel more positive about it. As far as boxing and how it's going to resume, I'm kind of the mindset of Barak. Like, we've always been like kind of trailblazers. At least that's what other people say about us. And I'm not, I haven't thought about what's next. I just feel like that I always approach things as they're in front of me, you know, and adjust to the time. Obviously, continue to be creative consistently, because that's what we thrive off. Like, you know, coming up with, you know, that's how the pull up was birthed and other things that it's just like we're always thinking. So this is just going to motivate us to be more creative. Like, yo, all right, we can't be at, spectators aren't going to be at fights. This is the angle. There's going to be angles. People are going to be watching more so than ever now. When people can't be, spectators in the arena, they're going to be watching on TV. So there's an opportunity to create so much content for people that for the last 2 months haven't been getting anything live, really, you know, other than radio, you know, and our show, you know, thank God we've been able to put on a show that's, you know, perceived as live. It's pre-recorded, but it's live the next day. I'm not fearful of what's to come. I know there are going to be changes. Things are going to be different. People are going to approach people differently. People are going to be fearful of being around anybody. So it's just more opportunity to be creative. And I'm ready for the changes. I think that this time, I've reflected a lot, and it's going to make me a better man in a lot of ways. And I'm ready to incorporate that into my new life, into whatever God puts in front of me.
Yeah,
Think about it, Marcus. Marcus, you was doing the unbox. Now you're going back into your career looking for the unboxing you was doing. Now you're going back in your career looking for times where, you know, you got doodled on by fighters and, you know, whatever. Like you're creative, Marcus. It doesn't matter what happens. You know, it doesn't matter. You're going to adjust like Floyd Mayweather.
No, we all have to, like, adjust with the times and like invest in ourselves. And if you have like a business, you know, and I've always been of that philosophy is invest in your business, invest everything, earnings, everything into your business, because it's going to come back to you tenfold, you know. But as fans of the sport also, it's going to be a lot different. I hope it comes back to what it was, because I think like big fight weeks in Vegas where everybody's all packed together and we're all, you know, at the bars or at the tables. And I'm like, post this, I'm like, are we ever going to get back to that? You know, it's a weird thing, you know, because I've seen like those glass things on the poker tables now in Vegas, and Vegas is trying to like get back to what it was. And, you know, you mentioned it before, like some people are still going to be scared. Even when they open everything up, people are still going to be like, you know, a little bit uneasy about all this too.
I think most people are going to forget about it, you know, especially the people that haven't been infected by it. They will get to a complacent place and go back to normal. There's still going to be a you know, big percentage of people that are going to be fearful and wear masks still and gloves and be you know, not react the same to human interaction. Now, the people that really enjoy that congregation, you know, that camaraderie with their friends, their coworkers, colleagues, and all that, that's going to affect them, because I don't think we're going to get back to that for a very long time. You know, so some people will be affected by it. I don't need to be around a bunch of people, you know what I'm saying, to be happy. You know, as long as I'm around my kids, I'll figure out a way. But yes, there is some that I do appreciate that camaraderie. Don't get me wrong. You know, when me and Barak are in Vegas, when we see you, when we see other guys, fighters, we enjoy that time. It's like, you know, it's our man cave, you know, so to speak. It's like, yo, these are my boxing brothers here. You know what I mean? We about to watch this crazy fight. Like, I love that too. You know, I have a sip here and there. Barak, he doesn't indulge in that aspect, but Barak can still be at a bar talking boxing with a ref, with a fighter, without engaging in that. So he still can appreciate that camaraderie in that congregation. So it's going to affect us all, but we don't have a choice. Like, we're not going to go back to that for a very long time. So we're going to use apps like this, like Zoom and FaceTime. Right. And so it's going to be the new norm for a while. But I do hope that at some point, Marcos, we get back to that.
No, I do too.
Who's to say? Well, I'm sorry, but who's to say we'll ever get back to that? Maybe outside of our generation, we'll be back to normal. You know, because they didn't experience this. You know, but I'm gonna tell you like this: we've been quarantined for what, 6 weeks now. Trust me, you're gonna change, and your desires change. So now, I like going to the store, driving to the store. You know what I mean? So now that's my fun. You know, so don't be. You know when you're sick, like normally you eat 3 times a day, right? But when you're sick, you don't want to eat. You respect the sickness. You know, you're like, oh man, I know my stomach hurts. Dang, I'm hungry, but I don't want to mess around and eat. I got a stomach virus. I know I'll throw up. You know, and that's the same thing here. We know what we're dealing with here. So now your desires have to change. So we might miss that old Vegas atmosphere and all that good fun stuff. But now we're gonna have to find fun in other things. You know, like I was joking around with Tia Mari the other day from Sister back in the day, and she said, yo, you know, our fun is going to Walmart. It really is. Like me, I go to Ralph's, you know what I'm saying? I go to Costco's, I'm lit.
I go to Costco. You know? Yo, listen, I never, you know, I was a drinker. I would drink when I go to the bar here and there, mainly socially. But for the last, I would say, maybe 6 months to a year, I didn't really drink much. I have a glass of wine here and there. Barak could tell you, you know, years ago I drank a lot more. But you know, during this time, I haven't drunk at all. You know, I've made the decision that I'm never going to drink again. So yeah, things are going to change. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about saying no, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. Like Barak's always done. And I'm happy about it. Like I'm okay with it because I know the positive effect that it's gonna have on me. And trust me, ice cold Stella in the summertime, nothing goes down like that. You know what I mean? But now I'm gonna have a club soda. You know what I'm saying, with some lime in it. you know what I mean, and still and know subconsciously that I'm not putting those toxins in my body. That's something that I've gained from this that I'm never gonna go back to. So like Barak's saying, we're gonna change. We're gonna have new desires. You know what I mean? And I've gotten more into reading now, so that might be an aspect where even when things get back to normal, I'm gonna give my hour a day of reading. So yeah, things are gonna change, bro. But I'm not saying I don't ever want to be around nobody. I love the fight weeks, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully we can get back to the fight weeks at some point, but I don't see it in 2020.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one for fans,
Right.
you know, to not be able to go to these fights. But everywhere you look at it, like no sports are going to be the same in the foreseeable future. You know, everything's going to be closed arena or with a reduced amount of capacity at those events. And, you know, some sports might not recover from this because of that, because they depend so much on ticket sales and selling merchandise and all that as well.
No, that's true. I mean, but you know, there's always a silver lining, man, to things, and the fact that more people are at home and they're starving for content, it's going to give the opportunity for fighters to have more eyeballs on them. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you think about it. Yeah, a lot of these gates, you know, you might 15,000, 20,000 people might fit in certain arenas, which is rare, you know, just for the big fights, you know, like a Canelo and AJ and things of that nature. But think about the people that can watch at home now that have been starving for content. So you might lose, you know, 15,000 people at the gate, but you might gain 300,000-400,000 people watching that weren't watching before, because you know, if it's promoted properly and it's something to watch. So there's something to gain here. You know what I mean? The gates will suffer. The promoters will suffer from the gate revenue. But if they learn how to monetize, you know, more people watching, I think there's a way to make this work.
The one thing that I'm getting from you guys, and the one thing I told myself before things really started getting serious with this, was I told myself, I remember before I took my flight, because we had a show for Fox on Washington, D.C., and that's when we started hearing that this stuff was circulating pretty bad, but not as bad, obviously, as it would have been 3 weeks later to that. But I remember I told myself, I'm gonna come out of this thing better than I came in, because I already made the decision at that point to socially isolate, because I was about to go on a plane with a lot of people, and I remember I told myself, coming out of this, I'm going to be a lot healthier and a lot better. And the key to this for me is to be productive. Now I'm getting the sense from you guys that you guys, from a different perspective now, are a lot better given your experience with this. With you know, Ak, you saying that you're not going to drink anymore. You had a lot of time to reflect, and Barak, you reflecting as well. That's what I'm getting the sense that you guys have actually used this experience to become better people.
Right, but that's what adversity does. Adversity always makes you look at yourself to see how you can overcome whatever it is that's troubling you. So if you get the strength to actually do that, then obviously whatever gave you that strength, you want to look into more. You know, and I think that when it comes to this particular disease, it really made us look at simple things like cleanliness, simple things as, you know, the germs that we pick up from being around people, you know. But like Ak said, we'll probably eventually people are going to forget, and we'll be back to normal, hopefully, maybe one day. But yeah, man, this is what isolation does to you, first of all. I mean, it's never really been a time where you had to isolate yourself, you know. So think about guys who go to jail. You know, sometimes guys who go to jail come back very, very bad from being isolated, or they come back, I got my law degree. You know what I'm saying? I had time on my hands. And I think it's about the individual. You know, we all have the same amount of time now, but it's about what you're going to do at that time. And I'm trying to use it as wisely, productively as I can.
I think that even the earth itself is, you know, there are theories out there that it's cleansing itself from people being in. I never heard that many birds chirping out my window. More animals are being out. The sky looks a certain way. There aren't that many trucks out there polluting the air. So it almost seems like not only us as humans, like we can become better from this. The earth itself is cleanses itself to some degree. You know what I mean? So me, yes, I feel like I'll be a healthier person. Like Barak said, a cleaner person. Not that I was a dirty dude, but you're not conscious of the little things. You know, even to some degree, I think I'll be a better father because I had a chance to reflect on the times where I'm just working on my phone or on a laptop, on an email, and telling my son, "Yeah, I'll get you in a little bit." Now, it's got me to the point where, you know, I'm going to put my phone down and I'm going to close my laptop and spend the time I need to spend with my son. So it's even going to make me a better father. So all around, outside of the mental stress that I've suffered and the physical aspect of this, I think overall it's going to make me a better person. It has already.
No, I've gotten that from this conversation. Hey guys, it was a good chat. To leave people, is there anything you guys want to leave them with based on your experience with this?
I would say if there's anything you should gather from this is priority. When I was sick and all I kept hearing was people dying and it's hard to breathe and people and this respiratory disease is killing people. Only thing that I could really think of is the kind of father that I've been, you know, and the kind of person that I am, my character, you know. And I think that whether you're sick or not, because it shouldn't have to take sickness for you to self-reflect, is something that people should do periodically. Examine themselves. That's what my favorite book says. Examine yourself. You know, and if there's anything you should get from this is, you know, reevaluate your priorities. And then whatever you put on top of that list, live for those things.
Yeah, man, I echo those sentiments. I would say, like, the one mistake that a lot of us humans make is that we feel like we have time. And we don't know how much time we really have. So yes, like Barak says, prioritize what you want to fill with that time that you know you have currently. Like, make sure it's worth it. And overall, just pray, like connect with God. I mean, if you're a God-fearing person or believer, make sure you build that relationship with Him, make it stronger, like especially during this time. But carry that on to life afterwards, even after us getting past this. That's it. That's what I would say, man. Peace and love to everybody, and stay safe. Thank you, and Marcos, and make sure.
No worries, man.
As well.
This was a really good chat, and thank you guys for sharing your guys' experience with
This is the first time we actually done anything like this to this degree, sharing this and being this open about this. So.
Oh, well, I appreciate that you guys opened up to me, man. Thank you, for reals. Ak and Barak airs weekdays, 12 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Fight Nation, channel 156, and 7 p.m. Eastern on DAZN. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Take it easy, man. Stay safe, everybody.
Yo, you. Yes, you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Hub TV, and give us a follow online as well at Fight Hub TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.